Hey guys, today we're going through chapter 6 on trig functions, and we're in section 3 right now, going over problem number 13. So number 13 says evaluate the expression, and we've got the inverse tangent of negative square root 3. So when we see an inverse, what we want to think of it as is we have a tangent of an angle which gives us the number. So we're looking for an angle right now. So in looking for an angle, we need to know what the domain of the function is. So the inverse tangent domain is going to be between negative pi over 2 and pi over 2. So we know that the angle that we're going to get has to be within this range of numbers. So we're going to look at our mnemonic. All students take calculus to find out where the tangent is going to be negative, since we've got a negative number here. So in the first quadrant, we have all of the functions are going to be positive. Second, sine and its functions are going to be positive. Tangent's going to be positive in the third quadrant and all of its relatives, and then cosine in the fourth quadrant. So since we're going to be between negative pi over 2 and pi over 2, that cancels out these two. So we're going to be either in the first quadrant or the second quadrant. And since tangent is positive in the first quadrant, we know that we're going to be in this third quadrant right here. So now that we know what quadrant we're going to be in, we can go ahead and solve for the numerical value of the angle that we're searching for. So we're going to draw a triangle. So we've got our theta here, and the tangent of this angle is going to be negative square root 3. So if we're taking the absolute value of that, we'll say that this is square root 3, and this side is going to be 1. How did I know that? Well, we know that the tangent of theta equals the opposite over the adjacent from SOHCAHTOA. So the opposite over the adjacent is going to be root 3 over 1. So now let's go ahead and find this hypotenuse here. So we have h squared equals the square root of 3 squared plus 1 squared. So we find that h equals 2. So now I'm going to go ahead and find the sine and cosine coordinates of this angle. So the cosine of theta, cosine theta comma sine theta, is going to be equal to the adjacent over the hypotenuse. So cosine equals 1/2, and sine is going to be the opposite over the adjacent. So we have the square root of 3 over 2. And we know that from our unit circle that this is one of the points on it. And we know that in the first quadrant, we're going to have cosine be over 1/2 and sine be up root 3 over 2, and that will be pi over 3. But since we know we're going to be in the second quadrant, we're going to be minus that, so our angle is going to be minus pi over 3. So then we have our answer. The inverse tangent of the negative square root of 3 equals negative pi over 3. I hope you found this video really helpful. The concepts we covered in this video are true no matter what pre-calculus class you take, and the examples I cover are from this textbook right here. And remember, if you're a Baylor student currently enrolled, there is free tutoring on the first floor of Sidrich. You can create a one-on-one appointment online or drop in anytime during our business hours. Please visit our website, www.baylor.edu/tutoring, for more details. Sic 'em Bears.